Hi, I'm Sean Smith. This is Sean Smith Photos, where I edit street photography and occasional travel photos in On1 Photo Raw. So today I'm going to look into retouching your photo and, looking at this left-hand side, removing these power lines so that your photo ends up looking like this. Now, back on Tuesday in the morning, I edited this shot and I'm pretty happy with it. And then Tuesday afternoon, On1 released the newest version, which includes some improved retouching tools. And we're going to touch on those, pun intended, here. Now, one thing that I did in this shot here is you can see I left these power lines over on the right-hand side because they're very hard to notice unless you know they're there. And point in fact is I shared these on Facebook in some photo groups that I belong to, as well as on Instagram. Did pretty well on the like count, better than average, especially on Facebook. Nobody commented or appeared to notice these things here. But since I did that, every time I look at the photo, it's driving me nuts. So I'm going to actually clean it up properly this time. And what I did is I took this shot, I created a version, which you can see on the left-hand side, and I then reset everything and synced the settings except for retouch. So let's get to it. All right, here we go. First thing I'm going to do is pull up the retouch tool, and it starts off here with healing brush, so paint over a spot to remove, or perfect eraser, which is what I did most of my work on the original version, was with perfect eraser. And we're going to start with that because it does a really great job. And we'll hop into nav, hit 100%, and maybe reduce this just a little bit. There we go. So what I find with this is you don't want to cross over things that have different colors or contrast. You want to do your perfect eraser in sections. So I'm going to hit perfect eraser here, wait a second, and I'm going to hit shift and then over here, and that'll do a straight line from the first one to the second click. And boom, it's done a great job. So I'm going to hit here, and then I'm going to do another, I'm going to shift click again, up to here. And reduce my brush size. Maybe I didn't click. And we'll go shift click. Okay, so this isn't perfect. It's kind of smudgy through here. Maybe we could clone stamp, or we could try one of those copy tools. So I'm going to undo this. Even though I know at full size, oops, I went too many undos, so we're going to redo. And even though I know at full size you wouldn't notice that smudginess, only pixel peepers will notice, it was kind of bothering me. So what I'm going to do now is healing brush, mode, copy, and we're going to draw from here. And I'm just going to go like this until I get to about the edge. And then I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to line it up, and voila. Perfect. Now we've got this nice definition in here. And I'm going to draw again like this. And I'm going to pull this one in here and line it up perfectly. And look at that. You cannot tell that there is a cable there. And we're going to draw, let's increase our size a bit. Just draw from here to there. Grab this. And then it's just a matter of lining it up nicely. Perfect. And then we'll draw again a little bit lower. Like that. And pull it in. This is so great. So good. I love this thing. All right, so I think I'm going to use the clone stamp tool a little bit over here. I'm going to grab a source, and then I'm just going to brush down. There we go. And then we're going to brush down here. No, I'm going to undo that. I like how it worked over there. I think we'll grab a new source by holding the Alt key, and we will put our, we'll reduce our brush size a little bit. We'll put our brush source here so we get all the smoke. And then I'm just going to brush like that over the thing and fill it up with smoke. And let's, this looks like there's a kind of a hard edge here. So maybe I'm going to undo this. Come on, undo. And I'm going to up the feather on this brush. Actually, let's just make it 100%. And we'll grab our sword. Oops, hold the Alt. What happened? Retouch. And we'll grab our source with the Alt key right here. And then go like this. And that did a much better job. There's no hard edge on it. This is great. I am going to switch to the perfect eraser. And I'm going to try getting rid of some of this stuff here. So let's just brush along here. And then we'll do the same thing like here. Again, you don't want to cross barriers where colors are changing too much because then it makes things really smudgy. You can see here it smudged it a little bit, and then we've got a little bit of the cable left there. So I'm going to go across this lighter part of the concrete. And that got rid of it, although it left this bright mark here. I will clean that up in a second. And what I did in my initial work on this was I used the clone stamp tool and I just brushed along. I cloned somewhere along here or this one, I can't remember, and then I just brushed it on here. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to grab the healing brush. I'm going to stay in copy mode, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush from the edge and stay along the floor, this concrete floor, like this. And then I'm going to drag this bit, just like this, over top. And it lines up perfectly. Look at that. It's just beautiful. All right, and so because the building grows as it gets higher, it gets a little bit wider, I couldn't just grab all the way to the edge and pop it in there. I'm going to once again, I'm going to brush from here to the edge, and then I'll use that bit to replace this bit. Line it up. There we go. And then we're going to hit the fit button, and you cannot tell anything is like that. Maybe if we were printing it up, we might be able to tell, but I'm not going to be printing it up. And on social media, this is going to be hidden. It looks great. And this was so much faster than using the clone brush. All right, so let's zoom into the CN Tower again. And I'm going to, this time, I am going to clone stamp. So we're going to just grab our source right here. And actually change our brush size a little bit. And I'm just going to paint over that. Beautiful, it's gone. I'm going to do the same thing here. Basically, we're just painting clouds on top of this thing. And boom, it's gone. Again, if you pixel peep, you can kind of see it, but if we zoom out, you can't really notice anything. So this is great. Although, if I look at this closely, I can kind of see that. Maybe it's because I know it's there, because I did it. So I am going to zoom in. And I'm going to undo that one, and we'll do something else again. Okay, so it's very tedious, but we've gotten rid of all of those spots. Now this one, I feel like I did it last time using clone and it kind of worked, but what I'm going to try this time is I'm going to copy this section and then I'm going to flip it and just paste it right on top of this. So let's go to Healing Brush, make sure we're in copy, and I'm going to reduce the feather a little bit, and I'm just going to paint right along the edge like that. And let's get this out a little bit. And then when you've got this selected, if you hit the Alt key, there's an option here to rotate or flip. So I'm going to flip it. I'm going to flip it. Oh, there we go. And so I find that these controls are really small and it's hard to target them. So it's flipped now. And I'm just going to drag it like this and drag on the corners a little bit to reduce the size, because again, the top is more narrow than from where we cloned. This is not working out as well as I would like. Let's hit Control Z, Control 0. And actually, at full size, it's not so bad. And it's still noticeable. There's a sudden color shift, but you know what? I think the average person is not going to notice that. Unless you're pixel peeping. So let's. All right, so now let's try this. We're going to clone. I'm going to hit my clone stamp right here, and then I'm just going to brush over this. going to clone stamp over here. I'm going to brush over this. Oops, undo that. Actually, Alt key, grab my source, and then I just brush that little bit of stuff that's in the way. Let's zoom in a little bit more. And then we'll flip over to the other side. Okay, so I actually have an idea. I wish I remembered how I got rid of this gunk on the original shot, but what I think I'm going to do because this is kind of messy right now, is I'm going to grab this cloud and I'm just going to place a copy of this cloud over top of this spot so that we can't notice it, and I'm not going to notice my icky job about it. So let's grab Perfect Eraser again, and the healing brush we're going to copy, and we're going to just grab a bunch of this cloud. Nope, that's not going to work. That's kind of ugly looking. Let's undo that. And let's put the feather at 100%. And where do we want to grab the cloud? I don't know, like... that. Alt key, we'll rotate it a little bit, resize it a little bit, Alt key. And let's go to fit, and at full size, I think that's done a pretty good job. All right, so we're going to work on the cables over here. So we'll zoom in. And okay, so I recorded this video twice and I had power failures, which caused problems. But using the healing brush and copy got really difficult over here, and I'm not sure why. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to use the clone stamp like I did in the original edit, and we're going to just try and get this nice and clean with using the clone stamp tool. So let's do that. Everything's really sluggish with this brush. All right, so let's Control 0. I'm pretty happy with everything except for this cloud section here, which does look fake. So let's zoom in here. Yeah, I gotta do something about this. Healing brush. I'm gonna hit delete. And increase the brush size, increase the feather. And let's try again. Oh, what's the overlay option? Actually, you know what? Maybe we'll just leave this funky thing here and take a look at it at 0. Yeah, I'm going to leave that as it is. Pixel peepers will notice, but otherwise, this is how you would use the clone stamp, the healing brush, to remove distractions from your shot. So let's turn on the filters from the original edit and turn these filters on. There we go. And I can kind of see a smudge right here. So what I'm going to do is grab the retouch brush and perfect eraser, increase my brush size. I'm just going to brush over that. Wait. And undo. So I'm not sure why it's making such a mess of that. We're going to undo that and instead turn these things back on. And instead, we're just going to grab our clone tool, grab a pretty big brush, hit our sources right here. Oh, that is also bad. Undo that. Well, why don't we hit the retouch brush to remove blemishes like dust and stuff, because this is more of a blemish. It's a long blemish. I'm not sure that this is going to work, but we're going to try. Go like this. I'm going to undo that. I'm having trouble figuring out how to get rid of this sky blemish. All right, let's go to the healing brush. And we'll do the copy one again. This. Oh, that's actually much better. Not perfect, but much better. Done. All right, I'm going to accept that, and we'll go to Browse, and we'll compare the two shots using the Compare tool. All right, so the one on the left is the new edit, and the one on the right is the original edit. Surprisingly, there's no smudge in the sky on this one, but we do have these cables and things. So in any case, that's how you use the retouch tools. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.